Hey, how's it going? In this video, I'm gonna be taking a look at King's speech that was given recently, and I'm gonna be taking a look at what information that I managed to find online, in particular, what would be 21 laws that he have presented. I have done some research to understand about some of the talking points, just because it's document itself, it's 78 pages, right? So document itself can be very complex, I guess, and hard to understand. I would highly recommend for everyone who is interested in taking a look at this document and reading this document themselves, since there's a lot of points on the document. I wish to put everything in 10 minutes video, but it can be very hard, right? So I'll briefly, I'm just gonna go, we're just barely gonna scrape the surface, right? What I believe is important, but either way, so if anything, I would highly recommend to taking a look yourself, and we're running out of time even right now. Taking a look at the document yourself and read through if it's something that you're interested in, since it might have a major impact on what you are doing. Let's try to make it brief, right? We don't have a lot of time. So I have all 21 laws. It's been defined as laws, and I can briefly go over every single one of those. First one, Offshore Petroleum Licensing Bill. I'll address that in later videos that I will be making today. It's just because if we're looking to maintain same prices, consumers themselves or taxpayers are gonna need to subsidize otherwise. If we want to keep paying the same petrol prices or petroleum byproducts and everything what we are receiving by drilling, right? Otherwise, we're gonna have subsidized and pay more. So going green, which is great. We're feeling good about everything, right? Either way, offshore petroleum licensing bill. So that's a point one. Next one would be trade, comprehensive and progressive agreement for trans-Pacific partnerships bill. So we're looking to improve those, which would be great. More work, more trade, more prosperity. Next one, automated vehicles bill, which is great. So we're looking to adapt more and more laws. So perhaps those laws are gonna be more business friendly laws, hopefully, and not without overlooking health and safety when it comes to automation and perhaps vehicles. Next one, digital markets, competition and consumers bills. I guess there's a new trend, so there's a lot of opportunities there. Digital markets next. Let's progress to data protection and digital information bill. Good that there's more and more attention about how consumer information has been treated, which is great. The next one, media bill. Next one, arbitration bill. Next one, draft rail reform bill. Okay. There's a lot of investments made across the world, including UK. Everything with regards to rail and some of the projects are there, like high-speed rails, right? Next one, tobacco vapes bill. I have heard a lot of people paying a lot of attention about this one, particularly. I don't know. Perhaps. Next one, leaseholds and freeholds bill. I think I understand slightly, but perhaps worth revisiting. The next one, renters reforms bill. Next one, football government's bill. Okay, I don't know myself. I don't really care, but I care about sports. I don't care about football. I'm just saying, right? But I mean I get it. Dedicaps, London in particular, perhaps they can raise more capital with those. I see a lot of opportunities there. Next one, Holocaust Memorial Bill. Okay. People care, I guess, about everything that's happening. Next one, Animal Warfare Livestock Exports Bill. Okay. It's I do understand this area very well. Perhaps they're looking to increase that, but again, there might be as well as how that will have an impact on overall environment. But either way, it's good that they look at that. Economic activities of public bodies. That would be the next one. I guess we're looking to perhaps reduce control, if anything. Let's keep going. Next one, sentencing bill. So overall jurisdiction when it comes to England and Wales, right? Next one, criminal justice bill. Next one, investigatory powers. Next one, terrorism. So we're looking to address some of the perhaps backlash that's gonna be caused by many things that's happening within the world. Next one, victims and prisoners bill. That's overall 21 points, and we already on the on the 5 minutes or so, right? So and we barely scraped anything. As I mentioned, right, so they're looking to, there's a lot of announcements made, right? So give you a full understanding and the way how they're structuring some of these documents. If I were to butcher any of these documents, and I would be taking just bits and pieces out of the document, but that would not necessarily give you a full picture of everything that's written within the document. I would highly recommend it. Read it yourself. Let's start with the first point, right? Legislation will be introduced to strengthen United Kingdom's energy security and reduce the reliance on volatile international energy markets and hostile foreign regimes. I don't know about that. Perhaps what they're referring to, stop purchasing from other countries, countries who looking after their own interest. This is what it is hostile. I don't know. This bill will support the future licensing of the new oil and gas fields, which I can understand and I agree that they should constantly look to improve things, right? Helping the country transition to net zero by 2050 without adding on undue burdens on the households. Uh, it's currently they on the path. Currently they on a different path, but perhaps by introducing this bill, they're gonna look to reduce cost for taxpayers. They say households, but they're looking to improve that. But it's good that they're doing something about it. But I don't know. I don't know. Quick story, just because we're on this subject, right? I had recently a person reach out to me that he's interested in drilling for oil and everything, and he's looking for people who can do it, but he don't want to do anything with the UK, right? I don't know entirely. I don't know all the details. I don't know all the legal framework. He was looking for Netherlands or US companies, right? He wasn't interested in UK companies just because of perhaps of current licensing for oil fields and everything, and our current structure of the legal framework, what it's like to do business with UK. And he mentioned that he would prefer doing business with other countries. So perhaps that will make some difference and makes some changes with the current legal framework and what will be required, and licensing new oil fields, right, and more players entering the markets. Perhaps that would progress with it as well as drive competition and perhaps in turn reduce prices. Hopefully. Next one would be a trade, comprehensive and progressive agreement for trans-Pacific partnerships. This is some of those agreements that international trade body was talking about. That all the businesses should look forward to UK signing new agreements in increasing trade, international trade, in particular, right, with other countries, since the UK's departure or the UK leaving EU, right, which would be a dip in overall trade, if anything, would be a dip. And from there, there should be new agreements where more parties should be interested in trading. It might take some time. Hopefully, it would take less than 5 years where they can sign some of those agreements. But if anything, they're currently looking to introduce more agreements, and all the parties need to get to the table and talk over it, or what would be required, what they would like to be traded, what we have, olives, wine, what you guys want, right? So we sign the agreement, and we can start trading again. Next one, automated vehicle bill. I'm interested in this opportunity. If anything, I'd like to understand a little bit better. My ministers will introduce new legal framework to support the safe commercial development of emerging industries such as self-driving vehicles, which is great. There's more details about opportunities within different markets, as well as there's a lot of support if you yourself you're interested in developing some of the projects of that. Usually they might be interested depending on the projects, right? I'll try to cover those in more detail in the future videos. Usually they would support 5, 10 different projects, right? Or give some funding, but that not necessarily covers all the funding, but all the details, right? So if anything, they bring more attention and some of those market opportunities there where markets are shifting and how they're looking to improve that, if anything they shouldn't slow those companies down. If anything, they should. So, what, what we are actually discussing, government not getting in, slowing companies down. Companies want to do that either way. This is what business people want to do it, and now we need to discuss about governments not slowing those people down. The next point would be digital markets, competition and consumer bill. My ministers will introduce new competition rules for digital markets, which potentially can tackle some of the major issues as a consumer repos. Can be considered as a bad business practice, including fake reviews or and subscription traps. So just to mention, there's a long bill, right? So I'll touch on some of the most important things. But again, they're using a lot of examples as well as they have access to a lot of data and how they can potentially support consumers. But either way, so they're discussing that should be key areas which they would be really interested in looking to address, right? Digital protection and digital information bill. My ministers will introduce new legal frameworks to encourage innovation in technologies such as machine learning. So we're going to look to encourage, and there's a lot of funding there as well as a lot of training for different businesses. I have reached out to some of those organizations. I wish those organizations would respond to business, right? So let's tackle this issue, or perhaps outsource that to technology entirely, and so we don't need to. People are responding and asking the question, why you contacting me, right? So people there looking to support business. Either way, it's a mess over there. It's a mess. So on the surface, this is how it looks on the surface. That they're spending so many 2.2 billions on some of those areas and looking to address those areas where this is how it looks on the surface. When you start digging deeper, you're coming across that they're looking to support. So if you were to present in a project, something like machine learning project, they would only fund half of that project. For example, that's an idea, right? Where that perhaps can be outsourced entirely. I don't know. That's again opinions, but either way, this is how it looks on the surface. That they're looking to bring more attention, which is great. But how are we gonna do it? They're not necessarily gonna do it properly, in my opinion. Media bill legislation will be brought forward to support the creative industries and protect public interest, in particular journalism. So we're looking to protect and support, right? If anything, and then we're talking about taxpayers' money, perhaps letting those taxpayers to perhaps decide with their money and what they would like to support, right? Instead of government stepping in and pushing a narrative. And when we're talking about media, what's a narrative? What's a government's narrative? And pushing what people should look. We have highlighted some of the players within the market. Some of those players would be BBC, ITV, STV, Channel 4, C4C, and Channel 5. I don't know any of those channels, right? So I don't know if my tax money is supporting any of those services. But what narrative is going to be pushed on the people who are going to be watching those channels? I can say already. I, I would rather support smaller players, but that's my way of thinking about it. I would rather support independent journalism where people are up there without perhaps corporates, massive corporates up there who would push that narrative, in particular narrative that aligns with anything or whatever, right? I would rather support 200 independent journalism. The people up there who on the front lines, I would rather support those, in particular these days. That's my own understanding of how it should be done. Next one, arbitration bill. The arbitration bill moderates the law and arbitration as recommended by the Law Commission of England and Wales is introduced, clarifying the law governing arbitration agreements, strengthening the courts, supporting powers, and facilitating quicker dispute resolutions, which is great. I guess it's good that they touch on that. The railway draft railway reforms bill. They're looking to improve some of those operations, which is great. Myself, I'm always interested that governments are investing in infrastructure. Okay, so that's a problem that they're looking to solve. Perhaps making a lot of investments and how effective real should be. This is how it should work, but why it's so expensive? It's been particularly UK. So everyone knows it. Everyone knows how expensive it is in UK. I don't know. Do I need to say it? Where people would take a plane and fly to Germany and come back to other city in UK instead of taking rail from point A to point B within UK. So it's a lot cheaper to take a plane, fly to a completely different continent, and come back. So this is how a lot cheaper, right, process. And how expensive it is currently and how we're looking to address. But perhaps that's just a waste of time if they're gonna subsidize the same people who always been there. If they're gonna subsidize the same people again, it's a waste of everyone's time and energy. But that's a problem. And, it should be a lot cheaper. I'm only interested in business. They're looking to address other issues as well, as I have mentioned in the beginning of this video. But myself, I'm only interested in business. There are other presented laws that might have different effects on business. But myself, yeah, I'm not looking to cover those. For people who are interested in learning more, I have published a book, Game Strategy. In this book, I'm sharing a lot of information with the people who are there looking to learn more about different processes, in particular when it comes to business and setting up business and different stages, what would be required of you. If you currently finding yourself doing a lot of research and trying to understand how to set up business, what kind of business you should enter, what is your area of expertise, what you need to, if you do not know already, what you need to know, either that particular stage, or if you currently are looking to or have done it while taking actions and actually starting your business. If you are finding yourself in this particular stage, which is great. If not, perhaps you have a lot of access to a lot of resources as well as you're looking to invest in different businesses. Whatever stage you might find yourself in, there's a lot of information in this book. Tobacco and vape bill. What they would try to accomplish: create the first smoke-free generation. Okay, so this is what they're gonna try to achieve. So I don't know, which is great. A couple of people, I don't know, 65 or plus years, decide by the laws, perhaps imprisoning people, sentencing people. They will try to create first smoke-free generation, which is great. I personally believe some of those, perhaps they have good intentions. How are they gonna look to accomplish that? I don't know. I don't know. It seems like a waste of time, a waste of everyone's time. Let's focus on business, at least in this channel. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.